And we're live. Hello and good morning, everybody. Might not be morning for you, but it is for me. So, good morning, and this is the second ever episode of Chase and Logic. So I'm really glad you guys are tuning in today. So I told you guys on my social media pages that the next video is going to be on social media, and I told you guys that on social media. So how funny is that? I'm going to tell you guys real quick a basis of what these episodes are going to look like on this podcast. And most of it's going to be a definition of the topic, a plain Jane, what it is factually in the dictionary. So no bias, what exactly is social media, or whatever topic we're talking about. Then I'm going to go a little bit into the history of it. I'm going to try to tell you the background on how it got started and why it's a topic of discussion today. What are some of the good things and bad things about this certain topic. So social media today, I'm going to be saying some pros and cons about social media, and then I'm going to wrap it up with my thoughts and stuff that I think that these topics could be better understood, basically. So we're going to go through the definition of social media, and this is going to be the textbook definition. Then I'm going to tell you the definition that I found that I like. So I did a little bit of research about social media, and we all know how important social media is today, right? I mean, we're on it right now. When you guys are watching YouTube, you guys are watching this video somewhere. So social media is impacting your life every day if you're watching this. So you should watch it and get to learn a little bit more about it. Okay, so the definition, the dictionary definition of social media is websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. Okay, not bad at all. This is basically just saying that sharing content throughout the internet, basically any form of social media, is just sharing information upon the internet. This is the definition I found that I liked a little bit better. This is not like a book dictionary definition here, but this is the one I liked. Social media is a computer-based technology that facilitates the sharing of ideas, thoughts, and information through the building of virtual networks and communities. I mean, could you imagine if that was actually the definition, where social media was only to share ideas, thoughts, and information through the building of virtual networks and communities? Then we'd actually get somewhere, I think. Don't you think? I mean, I think social media is a big attention grab. I think mostly is an attention grab and a money grab. But man, if it could be the sharing of ideas, thoughts, and information, that's what it's supposed to be. And that's what it started off as. So I'm going to give you the history here now. I'm talking too damn fast. I can't edit this at all. So I'm going to slow it down. The history of social media kind of started with email, believe it or not. A way to connect to people across the globe pretty instantaneously through a internet type based thing, sharing information, maybe even ideas. Email, one of the first forms of social media, and you guys might not have thought that it was even a form of social media at all. So I got a little timeline here. I'm just kind of going to go through the timeline of social media and then what kind of the trends were throughout this timeline, and seeing what the patterns of social media are and where it's going to today. So back in the very first, I kind of mentioned that social media, or email, was kind of the first form of social media back in the day. And Blogger and Google came out in 1999. So these are now independent, companies that are coming out to monetize the internet or make it more accessible or build it. So Google and Blogger came in. Google, a search engine. Blogger is kind of a way to create and share different blogs and ideas for individuals and express yourself through that way. So I think that's really cool, and that all happened before 2000. So really 2000 is like the year of social media, or the millennium of social media, shall I say. So 2001, what comes out? Two things come out in 2001 that I think is pretty interesting. Wikipedia You would have never thought that was a social media type website. However, it's something that people can collaborate on certain topics and ideas and share their information and add it to whatever it is. I mean, I didn't really think of it as a social media means, Wikipedia, but we all use it almost every day. And it's a great way for people to kind of chime in with their ideas, whether they're right or wrong. And then and then other people are going to tell them, modify it, and make a more factual page based off of everyone's collective knowledge. Unbelievable with Wikipedia. So, Wikipedia in 2001 and TripAdvisor in 2001. Being able to advise people on their trips wherever they want to go, I think that's a great social media thing too. So that was 2001. Wikipedia is a really cool idea that came out all the way back in 2001. I didn't know it was that old, and I didn't really think it was social media, so awesome on that part. I was waving away a fly here, so when I rewatch this, I'm not just going to be like this. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I just did that because it was a fly. I'm going to tell you guys it was a fly, so I don't look stupid doing this. Not a dog. 2002, what comes next? This is an interesting one too. LinkedIn, a way for employers to find qualified employees. Kind of interesting on that part too. How else would you go about finding talent unless it's for an online listing on your site? And how are people going to know that you're even hiring if they don't even look at your site? So LinkedIn is a great way to professionally enhance yourself and put yourself out there and network, social networking in a professional way through social media. LinkedIn's great, came out in 2002. I use it today, got my job basically from it. So LinkedIn's still going strong here in 2021. Okay, 2003, what comes out? One of my favorite social media sites from back in the day, MySpace in 2003, even before Facebook. So MySpace was a really cool thing because it was like Facebook. You were able to post statuses, you were able to post pictures. However, you could customize your site a little bit better with backgrounds, with music. And I thought that was a really cool way to go. I think it's a great way it's your space, and you click on my profile and you kind of see all of the different interests that I like, including even music, which is a huge part of my life. So MySpace in 2003 kind of took a jump in the whole social expression and self-expression and how you want yourself to be perceived for other people. So MySpace was a really cool thing in my opinion, and I don't know why it died out so quickly. I thought the customization and some of the add-ons that you could do in MySpace were a lot cooler than Facebook. Maybe Facebook was a little bit bigger and more accessible, but MySpace was the first one to come out, and I thought it was really cool. So giving it its praise here in 2003, MySpace comes out. And then 2004, Facebook comes on quickly, Mark Zuckerberg, very quickly, and starts this huge kind of social media campaign where you can connect with friends and family all over the globe. You can make Facebook groups, you can do interest pages, and it's a great way for people to connect on things that are, interesting to them. I don't know. Facebook's a very cool idea at its start, and it's still kind of the gateway to all other social media. Facebook was. So we'll give Facebook its props too. Or Meta, shall I say now, very recent news, just changed its name to Meta. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to step on Facebook's toes here. We're just going to move right on to 2005, where two of my favorite sites came out. YouTube, which is what we're on now, and Reddit. Reddit is like a back alley Wikipedia, where people can really start to express themselves with no sort of fact checking. They can just go on their own venture of opinions and post them on there and see how people react to it. Reddit, man, you can go deep down the Reddit hole, and I think that's a great way for people to connect. I know there's probably some dark places in Reddit, which, I'm not saying to go to, but Reddit's a very interesting site that you can get a lot more in-depth information from individuals who are just passionate about something. So Reddit's a very cool place for information. No, it's not all going to be factual, but you are going to find some stuff on there that you will not see anywhere else. And I think it's because people are so unique and people are so smart, and they get to express their true knowledge on Reddit. So I really like Reddit, and that's in 2005. So moving right along, 2006 comes out, and here's Twitter. So 2 years after Facebook, Twitter comes out, and it's more of a convenience posting, idea sharing thing. It's very user-friendly, very easy to see, and you can see people's ideas in 150 characters or less, or whatever it was back in the day. So Twitter comes out in 2006, and there was about 750 tweets per second. I think I'm remembering that off the top of my head, but when it came out, it was very popular very quickly, and people were tweeting very often. So it was great fan engagement for Twitter, and they were going kind of off of the personal and more toward the informative type of social media where people are just posting words basically. Now then they do video capabilities later on. However, Twitter in its original form was just kind of a way to tweet, which is a great marketing idea. It's not my favorite use. I'm more of a visual person myself, but Twitter's a great way to share ideas fastly, quickly, and be able to retweet and kind of share the others that you think are, helpful, other posts that are helpful, and you can go out there and retweet and connect with a bunch of people on Twitter. So Twitter, Spotify also comes out in 2006. I don't really think that's much of a social media website, but however, it gets people connected and being able to share their songs together, so it's kind of cool. That's 2006. 2007 comes out. Nothing really too crazy here. Tumblr comes out. I was never too big into Tumblr, but kind of more of a hobbies page and more of a like a blogging type scenario where you can put a little bit more information and be a little bit more creative with Tumblr Spaces, which is cool. Again, never really got into it, but giving it its praise here in 2007. And in 2007, the first iPhone came out. So yes, we were doing Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, MySpace, all of these things without an iPhone. So we were either going for other smartphones, which I don't really remember there being too many more smartphones before the iPhone, and we were on the computer for these. So kind of weird how future changes things, and how today, in 2021, we basically check all of these social medias, at least I do, on my phone. Very rarely do I do it on my computer, so it's kind of interesting to see the iPhone comes out in 2007 after a lot of these social media apps come out. So now that smartphones are out, things are going to start to pick up. 2008, nothing happened. Nothing notable happened. 2009, though, we get WhatsApp, we get Farmville, so we get a way on Facebook to play games with other people, kind of the first form of like social gaming. Farmville, Kickstarter, Foursquare. Foursquare, I don't know too much about, but anyway, so a lot of stuff comes out in 2009 that most don't use today, but it was kind of the first push to get these companies off and running. So a lot of stuff comes out in 2009 with the introduction of smartphones. 2010 gets a little bit more interesting with the introduction of Instagram and Pinterest. So Instagram and Pinterest, kind of one of the same, kind of different. Pinterest is, again, kind of more connected to Tumblr, more of a hobby, more of an interest. Pinterest, you're pinning all of your interests there, and it's very interesting and fun to look at other people's interests, see what interests you, see people's postings that are similar to the interests that you like on Pinterest. So I think Pinterest is a really cool idea and a great way for people with same interests to connect and share ideas, and I think that's a little bit more conductive and conducive than, let's say, Instagram. However, Instagram is a lot more user-friendly, usable, and there's a lot more people on it. So there's a little bit more reach with Instagram, and you can kind of start posting whatever you want here. Also, I really hope this is recording. Yes, it is. Okay, 320. So Instagram comes out, and it's more of a visual thing. So Twitter in 2006, 4 years later, took them that long to come out with a basically only picture-oriented social media form, right? So Twitter is pretty much all words, and you're switching it all the way to all pictures, which I like a lot more. I'm a more visual person. With Instagram, there's videos and cool pictures that you can post. However, it's not so much informative, which is unfortunate. I think now they're doing a better job of being able to spread information on Instagram rather than what it was before, which was just kind of like a picture posting app. Either way, Instagram's still going really strong today, along with Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Those are kind of the big four. Well, like we're going to get into a couple more now that are still around today at a high level capacity. So Pinterest and Instagram kind of open the doorway to visual social media, where in the past it's kind of been all text or reading influenced. So now we're spreading pictures and spreading more. How do I want to say this? Like, it's more sensory and more of a feeling than an informative thing, which is what I like about Instagram. It's kind of more of a, you're seeing it, you're getting some kind of feeling about what this person's about. You're being able to visually see them in different aspects of their life. I'm going to get into the cons of that later on. Don't worry, I know it's not all great, but I do like the fact that you can visually start seeing how people go about their lives. So Instagram was really cool in 2010. 2011 comes out and Snapchat comes out. Kind of rolls right off the tongue of Instagram, where yes, it is a visual type aspect where you can post pictures and videos. However, Snapchat is even more of a convenience thing where you can only see videos for so long. I'm sure you guys are mostly aware of what Snapchat is, and it's short videos and pictures that disappear in a day. So it allows people to do even more about updates on their life without having the fallback of it always being out there. So it's more of a way to express yourself to close friends or the people on your friends list about a story that you're doing. It's a way for people to keep updated about your life in a short, quick way that's not going to stay out there forever. So Snapchat's really cool in the fact that you can get creative. All right, after some technical difficulties, we are back. So, 2012, Vine comes out, and it's kind of short-lived. It's a way to in 10 seconds, be able to post a video that you can edit, and not only edit, but put music behind it and all this stuff too. So it did have some cool capabilities that it wasn't able to really build off of. It was very short-lived, Vine was. There's a couple Vine stars that popped up in a couple years, and that's what's great about social media, is that if you are really big personality and presence online, and especially with these social media apps, and you're able to express yourself, you can get very popular very quickly. We see that with just about any type of social media application at this point. But Vine was very short-lived, and its counterpart, even though it had nothing to do with relating to each other, but TikTok came out later, and that was much more popular because you can even further, first of all, it's longer than 10 seconds. It's not kind of a snapshot type deal that Vine tried to do, but it can be a longer, and it can be even more creative with video editing and music behind it and all this stuff. So TikTok really kind of took over the Vine space and what they were trying to do with being able to create creative content with videos and stuff like that. So Vine was short-lived. TikTok's now the king, and that's kind of the history behind social media, and it was kind of cool to see the trends throughout and where we are today with it all. So now, just going to put you guys for some social media statistics here. Just going to share some interesting things that I thought. So the internet today, as of started 2020. Started 2020, there was 4.54 billion users on the internet. There was 3.725 billion active social media users. So about over 3/4 of everybody that's on the internet has some kind of active social media site. And on average, people today have 7.6 social media accounts, and you might not even think that that's true. You might think, oh, there's 7.6 is too much. Think about it. Email, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, and really any website that you sign up with. I mean, that was almost 7 right there, and that's the easy ones. What about all the other ones that I'm not thinking about? So on average, people have 7.6 social media sites, which I think is kind of crazy, honestly. 81% of all small and medium businesses use some kind of social media platform. So businesses are now on the bandwagon of trying to get into the social media space to be able to promote and sell their products on, which is one of the best ways to do it is on social media. Almost costs nothing for them, and it's a lot more specialized than, like, say, a TV ad or an ad in the paper. You can start to target exactly what your target audience is, and I think that's very important and probably the future of marketing, really. When asked, 81% of teenagers felt social media has a positive effect on their lives. Another study found that the effect of social media on teenagers was trivial. that's kind of what we're going to get into in this next segment here. But it's amazing to see that 81% of all teenagers felt that social media has a positive effect on their lives. I wonder if after COVID and after all this stuff that 81 probably would be a tick down. But then again, this is asking teenagers, and they are more into the social media aspect and are more comfortable on these platforms than a lot of the other people. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well. Okay, so those are some facts that I just kind of pulled out of the internet that I thought was pretty interesting to me. So let me get back up to my thing so I don't get off topic. All right, so now I'm going to start going into the pros and cons of social media. And this is kind of self-explanatory, but I think it's good to reiterate and let people know why there's some dangers on social media, what's good about it, and so we can kind of get a better medium of how we feel about social media today. I was very interested to see that 81% of teenagers really thought that it was a positive impact on their lives. But anyway, trivial, right? That's what they said, trivial. Okay, so some arguments for social media. It's a great way to self-express yourself, especially if you're a shy person. It's a great way to be able to express truly who you are to whoever you want, and you can control who sees your content. So it's a great way to self-express yourself without actually being in self-express yourself. Come on, self-express yourself. It's a great way to express yourself. Because you can do it behind closed doors and you can choose who sees it. So it's not as nerve-wracking, it's not in person, it's not like you're going to be lit up on the spot of you doing it. You can be able to see what you look like and share what you want to share with the people you want to share it with. So it's a great way to self-express yourself, especially for self-express yourself. How do I say that again? Unbelievable. But it is a great way of self-expression, and it allows for people to have an outlet to really show who they are, because sometimes it's not as easy to do it in person. People have a lot of anxiety, and I think social media probably adds to that. The more social media there is, the more it's going to kind of be like harder in person, because the more we kind of disconnect from people in the real world, it's going to be harder to express yourself freely in person. So that's an argument against right there, but self-expression is a great social media, and probably the number one thing people use social media for. It also gives you a sense of self-identity. You can start to connect with different people that you enjoy or are interested on these social media sites, and it gives you a self of identity. It gives yourself a form of identity where you can start to see other people who are like you. And even though in high school or in your immediate friend group, if you think you're kind of the outcast, you can kind of see people online who are kind of doing the same thing and connect with them. So it gives you a form of self-identity on these social media sites too, which I think is great. It builds communities. So kind of in the same area code there is who you're identifying with, who you're connecting with, who the information that you're interested with is connecting with. You can start to build communities around that, whether that be a charitable event, some volunteering thing, sports, fan bases, something like that. It builds a good community and allows people to talk to each other about certain topics that interest each other, which I think is a great way, and I think it should be utilized more, community building on social media. But again, it's a great way that social media is, it positively impacts us. So emotional support as well. This can go the other way, but I'm going to do the pros right now of the things that social media are good for. And a lot of it is emotional support is good. I mean, how many times do you see, people post and say, hey, you look gorgeous, or what a good idea, or, keep doing your thing. I think it's very important that we all lift each other up on these social media websites. So emotional support is a pro for social media. And awareness of others. What a great one. Awareness of others. It allows us to see different opinions, different aspects of life, people in all different age groups, and it allows you to really see the different opinions and biases that are out there, for the good or bad. But awareness of others and awareness of others' interests and feelings and lifestyles is very important to learn, especially if you're from an area that's very secluded and you don't have a lot of diversity. It allows you to be aware of all those other diverse parts of the world, and it's great. So awareness of others is a great one for social media. It can help build real-world relationships too. So how stupid does that sound? That something on the internet can actually lead to real world relationships. And take dating apps for example. I didn't really get into those in the starting of social media, but they're a great form of social media. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, I guess would be the big three there, for social media, getting together type of stuff. And it allows you to connect with a lot more people than you wouldn't be able to, just if you were walking down the street. You're only limited to the people who are on that street to see who you could meet, right? Whereas a real world relationship, you're allowed to go on social media and see people in similar age groups that are single, that are interested in this, and that, and you can see kind of the basic picture there, and go out and meet some of these people. Same thing with the community building. It's a great way for people to connect online so that they can meet in person. I think that's the next step to social media, is not only being able to share ideas online, but to actually bring it into fruition in the real life. So that's kind of why I want to do this type of social media and explain this stuff to you guys, because I want you to take it home with you and share it with the immediate real world out there. Why is social media good? Why is it bad? What's your feelings about it? So yeah. And another argument for a good thing about it is some people are shy. Some people don't have a lot of friends. Some people are lonely. And it is a great way for them to be able to connect with people that they can't, in real life, that they're not able to do. So it allows you to have people there for you if you're a lonely person. And it's a great way to be able to connect with people if you are in that boat. So those are all good things about social media. I think there's a lot more good things. I just, bullet pointed a bunch of them and started talking about them. So here's some of the arguments against social media, and I gotta share them because there's always two sides of every pancake, no matter how thin you slice it. Okay, so you have to go over the good stuff and the bad stuff. You can't ignore one side of it, right? So let's flip the pancake. Argument against social media. This has come up a lot in the last couple years. Kind of people being insecure about other people's lives and how they only post the good things that happen, and they only post at their best when they're happy, when they're smiling, when they're somewhere exotic, when they're on vacation. And that's not real life, and we kind of have to understand that. So some of these things can lead to things like depression and anxiety and body image shaming, just because you see so much stuff out there for people that you don't even know, but just people that are so happy and so fit and so, have money and a totally different lifestyle than you do. And some people look at that and think, wow, I'm missing out, or I'm not able to live this lifestyle, so I'm going to be sad about it. And unfortunately, yeah, that's about how a lot of us think. That's how a lot of us think. When you see somebody with a big house or a nice car or a good body, and you see that you don't have these things, and you kind of wonder, where am I going? How am I ever going to do it? Am I ever going to do it? And then you look at yourself in the mirror and you look nothing like this. You look nothing like these people that you're seeing, and it can lead to negative thoughts about oneself, which is very demeaning and demoralizing for someone to look at somebody else so frequently online. That actually affects the way they think about themselves. So that's a tough thing, that people really need to start learning, that not everybody's perfect, and I think a lot of people can do a lot better with this too, and start posting a lot more real stuff on Instagram rather than them just on vacation or happy. I know you don't really want to see people crying on Instagram. I mean, I'd probably skip that video too, right? But I think it's really important to show all of sides of things, and you can't just show yourself at your best, because unfortunately that allows people to kind of look at themselves differently and wonder why it's not like that for them. So depression, anxiety, body image, all things that kind of happen on social media, that's internal, that we think of ourselves, and compare ourselves to all these counterparts on social media. That isn't fair to us, first of all, and isn't fair to our mental psyche, because it's not real. The pictures that you're seeing are not 100% accurate, and nobody lives these lifestyles 100% of the time. So it's important to know that. But unfortunately, social media can lead to a lot of these things, with people who really look deep into it. So also kind of along the same lines, bullying. Let's say you post something that is maybe of you crying, or maybe it's you putting up a picture of you and your body image goals or whatever, and they're saying, oh, you're chubby, or oh, are you fat, or you're ugly, whatever it is. Those are pretty basic ones, and I know people can get ruthless and a lot more mean than those just few adjectives, but it allows people to see everything you're posting, and if they have a different opinion about it, they'll share it, and that's kind of a bad thing too. It's great to share information and different opinions, but negativity is not good, and there's a lot of negativity with people trying to be either funny or just retrospective on their part, seeing different social media sites. It's not good. Also, fear of missing out, FOMO, as you guys might know it. Again, it's kind of going to these things where it's like people live these extravagant lives and do these things, and you have this fear of missing out where you shouldn't. People live different lives and they post at places where they want to. You shouldn't have a fear of missing out, and you should make your own opportunities. So don't have a fear of missing out. Don't ever think about that. And then also, this is an interesting one that I wanted to put in there because it kind of affects me too, is sleep quality. Social media affecting sleep quality. How many of us lay in bed at night and start scrolling through social media for like an hour before we go to bed? That's not good, and can mess with the sleep quality, and not let alone looking at our screens, which is blue light, which wakes us up anyway before bed. Shouldn't be doing it. So that's an interesting con of social media as well. So after everything's said and done, yeah, it's about equal. Pros and cons, it's not good or bad, but I think it can be good. So this is where my thoughts come in. And social media these days is the fastest way to spread information and knowledge. Again, these are my thoughts, what I think about social media. You guys might differ, but this is my time and my space, so this is how I think and my opinions on social media. It's the fastest way to spread information and knowledge, guys. So, if you have something to say that you think is positive and beneficial to the world, get it out there. Make sure people know about it, because spreading knowledge is the only way we really move forward in society, right? Social media is a great way to spread opinions that people aren't too sure of, and what with that is people post a lot of things that aren't very factual either, as I'm hearing my roommates are waking up now. There's no fact checking, and people can say just about anything they want, and people will take it as fact. So it's very important that we're posting stuff that's factual and for the greater good, rather than false information, unwanted biases. You don't want people to fight each other. We want to put factual information on social media. We want to have good discussions about it that can progress us forward. We don't want false information out there, because that moves us backward, that spreads us farther apart, and it isn't correct. So there's no real sort of fact checking or any kind of I know there's kind of security that's on social media websites. It's more for inappropriate posts or something like that. But I think there should be something that actually fact checks stuff, and people can actually report people for sharing misinformation or sharing information that's going to be negatively impacting other people. I think there should be something that can take down those kind of posts as well. That way it's more of a communicative and an idea sharing thing. There's a lot of filler bullshit basically on Instagram. You guys got to kind of not worry or not think about it too hard, because a lot of it's detrimental to us. So we want to be able to be only positive and only progressing through social media, which we're not today. I think it's a money grab and an attention grab right now, but I think that there will be different social media types that come out even after this that are more productive toward the everyday life, which I think is going to be more important later on. It needs to be factual and educational. Kind of went over that. I think it's a great way to educate ourselves, and I think social media could be the next way of educating people, maybe at a free type capacity, where there's all the information that's on the website, and it's going to be able to be accessed by everybody. So I think that it needs to be more educational rather than just attention grabby. But man, is social media a great form of information, entertainment, and connection, and the future's headed toward that. I mean, the future is heading so far toward entertainment that it's not even funny. If you guys disagree with me, look how big sports are getting. Look how big TV ratings are getting. Look how big the internet's getting. Social media things. It's all entertainment connected, and the more in the future we go, it's going to be more entertainment based. So it's going to be really important for entertainment in the form of social media to be factual and educational, and not so much you know, just an attention grab. So, it's an amazing sort for entertainment. I think there's going to be a lot more social media sites out there in the next couple years. I think there's going to be a lot more ideas, and it's going to be a lot more streamlined and ingrained in people's lives, social media, where it is already kind of today. But as these generations grow up with social media, it's going to be really ingrained. And there's got to be better ways, better apps, better ways to share knowledge rather than just those couple social media sites that we said today, because I still don't believe the platform on these social media sites are perfect. I think there needs to be a better platform where better information needs to be spread, whether it's educationally or just idea sharing wise. I think Reddit's a great way to do that. However, there's no real fact check on that either. So, we have to be very conscious of what we're looking at on social media, the kind of information that we are spreading on social media, and how we are reacting to the things that we are seeing. That's my take on it. We have to be very diligent and careful about what we're posting and what we are seeing on social media, and how we relay that information to other people, because that's really what it is. It's sharing information, and we just have to be diligent. And we have to be knowing that Instagram, you can't just take it at face value. You have to really just take everything with a grain of salt. And it's great for entertainment. And it's great to get your brain churning about different ideas that you've never really thought about before. But be cognizant, know what you're looking at, and really try to filter out all the stuff that is bullshit, basically. So, guys, please definitely be aware. And thank you for watching this video on social media. Again, ChaseandLogic. This is the second episode. Hopefully I'll stream another one in the next week. Sorry it took me so long, guys, and I really appreciate you guys watching. So, social media, appreciate you watching mine. Don't watch other people's that aren't sharing the same type of information, It's important to share both sides of every pancake. Again, that's one of my favorite sayings. There's two sides to every pancake, no matter how thin you slice it. So, guys, look at the pancake on both sides. Make sure that you understand the pancake entirely before you consume it. So, thanks again, guys. Episode number 2, down the drain. And I will be posting this relatively soon. So, thanks again, guys, for listening and watching. And social media, ChaseandLogic. Bang, 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 bang. Thank you.